So what is going on, guys? Can you hear me? First of all, can you hear me? Nobody's in here yet, so they're not going to answer. "29 seconds, and nobody's in yet. They're just waiting for the notification on their phone because their favorite YouTube guy has gone live. And I still don't know. Hey, Rob, what's up, man? Hey, can you hear me, bud? Because I'm using a microphone because I couldn't find my earbuds. So I want to make sure that it's working. I think it's working. Maybe it's not working. Can you verify that for me, Mr. Rob? Sounds good. So it sounds you have the sound. Drew's Lawns, what's up? I'm guessing your name is Drew. So how you doing? Good to have you. Is this your first time into the live stream? Excellent. 2 thumbs up. I'm glad. Hey, Rob, yeah, you're a creator, obviously, but you know things can go wrong. Hey, what's going on, Jeffrey? It's good to see you again. A little static, but you can't hear me. Okay. Let's see here. I wonder if I can fix that. I wonder. Any better? Any better? Cool. Excellent. I thought so. I didn't recognize your name on there. So welcome to the first Lawn Care Little Guy live show. Excellent. So I got my usuals that seem to be looking forward to the 9 o'clock. So I appreciate you guys. You watch videos though? Yeah. I haven't made a real video, like, a recorded, edited video in quite some time. So I went to, if you've seen some of my past lives, which that might be what you're talking about, you went back and watched some of the lives, it's just, editing has just really ate up some time for me. I was having technical difficulties and everything. So I figured live was just better. But the downside is you don't get any lawn care footage until I figure it out. William, man, good to have you back. Good to have you back. So I said this last time, but I love seeing the same guys over and over again. I really, really do. So it really means a lot that you guys come and support me. 2 more to 700. Yeah, I've been watching a little bit. I didn't realize I was that close though. So 700, like 700, 750. I'm like, oh man, I got a shot at this, don't I? Got a shot at 1,000. I've been kind of surprised that it's been more consistent since I've been doing the lives. I've had more consistent up, but I don't have like these jumps of like 10 subscribers or nothing. It's like 1, 2, 3, but it's like consistently every single day I get, a few more subscribers, and I'm totally cool with that. Totally cool with that, and I'm really appreciative of everybody that has subscribed recently. I think in the last couple of weeks, I've gone up quite a few. I can't remember because I'm not really counting. I'm just kind of waiting for that magic number and just kind of doing my thing. Yeah, Drew, let me get you up here real quick. There we go. I don't mow full time. I have another job. I have a full-time job. I work on Tinker Air Force Base, and I drive a fuel truck full time. And it's a really good job. It's a really, really, really good job, and it's the biggest hindrance to me going full time in lawn care. So yeah, yep. I'm a part-time guy. This year I carry about 22 properties, and my properties are somewhere between like 3,000 and I guess I have one that's allowed 11,000 square feet too, but that's really big, and I typically don't take lawns that big. And then you see Waymaker Lawn Care, Rob. Me and him do a collaboration, and I think we decided it's about 2.5 or 3 acres because they went up a little bit more this year on us. So that's my biggest one, but I'm not equipped for that kind of property, so that's what I do. Yeah, part time is good. It's got its benefits and it's got its weaknesses. But I'm not going to waste too much time before I get into the story. I'm going to wait for a couple, kind of wait on a couple of guys. Hey, Long Commander, how you doing, Stacy? Long time no see, so it's good to have you. Good to have you back. And Long Commander, man, look how the beard's coming. Maybe the light's not right, but it's. I've been challenged. I've been challenged to keep the beard going and not to cut it until I got to 1,000 subscribers, and I'm considering it. I'm considering it. I'm still not sure if I can actually make good on that if I were to do it. But I'm considering it. Hey, by the way, Stacy, did you change your logo there? That looks like a different logo, like you rebranded yourself or something. I could be wrong. I could have missed that before, but that looks new to me. Yep. So yeah, part-time lawn care is my gig, and I do it alone. I'm a solo guy as well, sole proprietor, so I don't have any employees. Every once in a while, like I 1099 Rob because I took the lead on that property that we collab with, but we split it, almost 50-50 because he's got his boy that works with him too, so they get a little bit more than I do. You keep it all winter long. The beard is that what you mean, Drew? Is the beard? I don't know because I usually do. Thank you, Stacy. I usually do grow it during the winter time, and it's already summer, it's late summer, but I just kind of feel like it. I just shave when I want, and then grow it when I want. I'm all about feel. I'm a feeler, I guess. Not really. If you guys saw my last personality test that I took, I'm not a feeler, except when it comes to the beard. So I'm really hoping, by the way, guys, to maybe provoke some of you guys to come on with me. And I haven't quite figured out. I know I can put a link and I can or I can paste a link into the comments, but I'm not sure how good that is for you guys. I heard you got to kind of copy and paste and put it in your browser to get the invite. And I'm not necessarily prepared, but if anybody wants to come on, I can give it a try. And if everybody else can be patient, that'd be great. And maybe we can get some chatting going on. You haven't changed in about a year. Is that how far behind I am? I guess. So yeah, along with editing videos, I have trouble keeping up as well. So and sometimes, honestly, guys, the logo, I don't pay that much attention to the logos normally. I'm looking at titles most of the time and people that I have connections with, and I try to go with them. Mr. Ben, yeah, oh yeah, thank you, Ben. By the way, the Coke Zero is still in the house, and I have a backup in case I didn't finish my last Coke Zero. Sometimes I bring two, but this time I brought my cup of water. So we've got just about everybody in here now that is pretty normal. We might be missing one or two, but we're a few minutes to it. So now I'm just going to do the little intro again, as I usually do. You have joined the most irresponsible lawn care live broadcast on YouTube. And the reason why is because we're going to talk about anything. Nothing is off limits, except for the thing that I have been withholding, but it's not because I didn't want to talk about it, but I just didn't feel like it was appropriate at the time because I have coworkers that that watch the show too. So they never chat, they never comment or nothing like that, but they do watch because I'm like the only guy that has a YouTube channel. So every once in a while they drop in on me. So if you guys are ready, then I guess I will go ahead with the story. But before I go ahead with the story, and this isn't even like a huge buildup, because I'm afraid that you guys might be a little bit disappointed because it's really not that big a deal. But at the moment that this event was happening, it was a big deal. Okay, and I think I told you the clues were like full-time job, lawn care, and coronavirus, I think, were my clues. Yep. I think those are the clues I gave. So I don't know if you guys have figured this out yet, but I'm going to kind of start from the beginning, okay? And it's going to seem to be unrelated. But what had happened was we decided to have our Bible study again in the house because since coronavirus, we haven't been meeting with our Bible study. But then about 2 months ago, we did. And then everything was going great. Not everybody was showing up, and that was okay. It was like one family, and then they would, something would happen, and then have like another family. So, but we always had people there. And then one week, about uh, I don't know how many weeks it was. I guess it could have been about three. We might be going on 4 weeks now. 4 weeks ago, we had a Bible study, and we had someone come, and it was the first time back, and they came to the Bible study. All was good. Kids are playing. They have kids. We have kids, and kids are playing and everything. And uh, I'm gonna make sure I can keep this up. There we go. And we break for the night, and then everybody goes. And then the next day, I'm out mowing, and then I get a text that says, "Hey, so and so tested positive for corona." I'm like, "What? They were just at our house. They were just at our house last night. Why did they even go get tested?" Well, they went and got tested because they traveled. Because apparently, I didn't know this, but if you travel, then people are inclined to get tests if you go out of state. So this person did that, and they tested positive. So I'm like, okay. Well, in my job, um, if you're in contact with somebody, it's right there on the front of the base. If you've been in contact with anybody that's tested positive, don't enter the installation. So in my mind, I'm like, oh crap, you know. And then there's also another area that you go in, and before you go in the area, they take your temperature and they ask you two questions. One of the questions is, are you experiencing symptoms, or have you been in contact with anybody that's tested positive? So I'm like, I got to tell my boss. So I tell my boss, I call him and I say, hey, I've been in contact with somebody that's tested positive. What do you want me to do? And at this point, I'm not really letting on to anything because I'm not having symptoms, and I know it's just a day after and things like that. But if I could be honest with you guys, I want to go to work. Like, I'm not the type of guy that's going to just like assume I'm sick. And I understand that the whole asymptomatic stuff. I understand all that, and I don't want to be too insensitive to different communities, but just know that different areas are different, and people are different, and communities are different, and attitudes are different, and everything's different. So I don't judge anybody, and I don't want to be judged for it. But if I don't have symptoms, especially with a guy that doesn't have insurance, I was not really like jumping to go get tested. Jay and Christine, what's going on, guys? Hey, just a quick break in the story. I hope you guys are doing good. I hope your properties are doing good down in Louisiana. Let us know. Let us know what's going on. And so my boss said, well, I guess you better make an appointment and go get tested. And at that point, I'm like, okay, I hang up with him, right? I probably should have spoke up right then or whatnot, but I didn't. And then I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, I don't want to go get tested. For one, I'm not into the tickle your brain test, and I'm not all that educated in all the different tests that are out there. But I'm like, I'm not taking that tickle your brain test. I'm not doing it for various reasons. Okay, various reasons, but I'm not doing it. So I call him back the next day, and I realize I got to tell him that I didn't get tested. So Stacy says if you don't eat sugar, you can't get COVID. I believe that. By the way, I'm kind of going to come off the sugar if I can, and I know that this has a form of sugar in it, but I've been feeling terrible lately. Not COVID terrible, but just like I'm eating too much sugar. But so I know I'm going to have a difficult conversation with my boss, and I don't know what he's going to say. But what I'm hoping for is that he's just going to let me quarantine for 14 days before I come back to work. No symptoms, I go back. Because if you guys remember, that's how we handled Corona in the very beginning when there was no test. You just quarantined for 14 days and you went about your life if there were no symptoms. So that's what I'm hoping for. And my boss, so I call my boss, and because he hasn't called me, I think he's assuming that I went and got tested and that he's waiting for a result. And so I called him, and I told him, I said, so did you get tested? I said, no. And he goes, well, are you going to? And I said, no. And he said, why not? And I said, well, because I'm not having symptoms. And he said, well, I can't let you come back to work until you get a negative test. And I'm like, I'm sorry. I mean, he's like, what are you telling me, Clevenger? And I'm like, well, I'm not telling you I'm quitting. That's not what I'm telling you. I'm asking you what my options are, because keep in mind, I'm hoping for a 14-day quarantine. I wouldn't even take it unpaid, honestly. I would have taken it unpaid. And I talked to my wife, she says, yeah, whatever. I don't want you to do anything that you don't want to do. Sam, what is going on, guys? Another break. Sam, this is one of my coworkers. Miss you too, bud. We really miss you around the shop. I mean, shop is the shop, but I'm telling the story about a shop. Uh, and um, so so I said, yeah. I told him, I said, well, I'm not quitting, but I'm asking what my options are. And he says, well, he's like, you got to take a test. I can't. He said, I can't let you come back unless you give a negative test. And I said, I understand your position. I said, but I don't want to take the test. And he said, well, let me call the company. So just with that comment, I give him a lot of respect, because he could have been like, well, I thought I just quit my job, guys. That's what I thought I did. I thought I had just quit my job. And when I hung up with him, because we hung up, and at this point he thinks I'm not taking a test, and he's calling the company to see what else can be. Um, and I just break down. I break down, and I am like sobbing, guys, because I thought I just quit my job, and I wasn't. I didn't really prepare myself for that possibility. And I know most people are like, why wouldn't you take the test? But I just can't go forward in anything that I'm not. I can't go forward without faith. Like, I've got to have faith in whatever it is that I'm doing, and I don't care what it's about. I mean, a lot of people are hesitant about a lot of things, that are not even as complicated as this, or as simple as this, or whatever. But they're even more simple. But they just have a faith, right? And whenever their faith is being challenged, and they got to make a decision on something, it's really important. It's like, what are you going to decide? Well, I started just like breaking down to that thought. I just quit my job. And hey, Abby, what's going on, girl? Abby's good. She supports me everywhere, and even Facebook. She follows our personal page on Facebook, and I appreciate her. Uh, I'd love to brag on her in a minute if I could. So I'll finish this story. And um, and I look at my wife, and she is just got straight love in her face, just like nothing but love. And she she said, we're going to be okay. And I told her, I said, I know we're going to be okay, um, but I feel like I let you down, because this is something that in my mind, at this point, I don't even know how she feels about this, you know, and I almost quit my job. I almost quit my job over this. And she said, it's going to be okay. Uh, she said, I don't want you to do anything that you don't want to do. And I'm like, man, I love you. Like, how many gals would be like that? How many gals would be like, I don't care how down it is. If you can't continue in faith, then I don't want you to do anything, and no matter what happens, it's cool. So my plan would have been, if my boss would have come back, I would have gone full-time lawn care. I would have done the exact same thing that only a few weeks ago I'd been like, I'm never going full-time lawn care, because that's just not me. I got a great job. Well, I almost quit my job like last minute. But then what ended up happening is Kristen said, well, let me call around, let me see what's out there, because I didn't know about this, but there's a saliva test. And there's also another test, I guess it's a rapid test, where it's not the tickle your brain test, it's just the, like right up in here. And I'm like, and I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, I think I can do that. I think I can do that. I think I can do that in faith. So that's what I did, guys, to kind of wrap this story up a little bit. Is I ended up taking the rapid test, which was not the tickle your brain test. And if I was ever required to do the tickle your brain test, uh, I would have still made the same decision. But I did take the rapid test. I produced a negative test, and I was able to come back to work. But that's how quick life changes. When your faith is tested, it's really, you got to know what decisions you're going to make, and you got to be willing. I mean, it really shows what you believe and what you don't believe. And this isn't a brag on me. This is just what I learned about myself. That no matter how anybody else feels about it, it was me that mattered in that moment. And my wife didn't require me to violate my conscience in any way. And I'm blessed to have her, and I didn't. So, and things ended up working out. So as it sits now, I'm still full-time. Everything is kind of back to normal. Nobody looked at me weird. I don't even think anybody knew it at work, because usually that stuff gets around pretty quick, and that's one of the reasons why I had to hold it off, is because I wanted to make sure that I didn't. If it got back to my boss, because social media, he even just briefed it, social media will get you in trouble at work, and I get that. And I just wanted to make sure that enough time had passed to where it wasn't like a big deal anymore, right? Does that make sense? Or it didn't become like the talk at that time that it had just happened. So that's why I wanted to hold off. So yeah, that's what y'all have been waiting for the past couple of weeks. I appreciate your patience. And but now, you know what the fruit of this is. Now we're like, okay, what happens if something like this happens again? What am I going to do? So now in my mind, I'm already making plans for full time. Not that I'm working towards full time, but I'm making plans. I'm planning ahead in my brain that if something ever happened in my full time job, how am I going to move the long term forward? Because honestly, guys, I'm not going to work for anybody else unless I absolutely have to. But I don't see why I'd have to. If anything ever happens in my full time job, I am full time lawn care. It's better. It's better to work for yourself than it is to work for someone else, unless you get paid a lot of money. And you don't have to violate your conscience. So that's what we're doing. Let's see here. Sugar things. We got a lot of sugar talk going on. A lot of sugar talk. I'm just going to kind of review a little bit, guys. Everybody's saying, what's up? What's up, what's up, what's up? Everybody, what's up? Sugar. Yeah. So I've been... Okay, I'm going to get to Abby real quick. Abby, if Abby's watching, is it okay if I share that Facebook post about the music? What you said about music? Because I think that's extremely wise, what you posted. And I'd really love to brag on you and share that if that's okay. Just throw in the comments. What's going on, Juan Romero? Romero? I never could roll my R, so I know it sounds terrible. But do you guys know Juan? Does everybody know Juan? A few, excellent. A few videos ago, actually it's more than a few videos ago, he posted something. He did a commercial. That dude has got an excellent voice, and he recorded like a commercial. I think it was like a promo commercial. And Juan, man, you're good at lawn care, right? But you're really good at the radio voice. I'm just saying. You started drinking the Coke Zero? Oh, nice, man. Nice. Now be careful because the artificial sweetener, from what I understand, builds up in your brain. So it's zero all that stuff, but there's negative stuff to it. So, and I've been thinking more about that too. And I found some water at Walmart, and I was hoping it was like sparkling water and it was flavored. And I thought that was going to be really good. One of my customers gives it to me every single time, and she makes me give her the can back because she wants to throw it away. At least that's what I'm assuming, because she always asks me, "Are you done with that? I'll take that from you." And anyways, but yeah, that's got the aspartame in it too. So aspartame is not necessarily a good thing, but I guess if you're just straight worried about calories, it's great option in that way. And it tastes pretty good, in my opinion. Yeah, Stacy says he would without insurance he'd quit and never flinch. Because honestly, the guys, that's why a lot of us guys keep a hold of our full-time jobs, is because of the medical benefits. But my medical benefits is not a benefit that they offer. My plan, if I were to get a family plan, it's over $2,000 a month. I think it's like $2,100 a month. That's ridiculous. So I don't take it. I'm on MediShare. It's a little different. It's more like a health club type of thing where the members share their bills, and that's what we do. But yeah, I know. No, but the problem is that my salary or my wage, and I'm not a salary person, I'm an hourly guy, but my wage is so high that it would take a great leap. I'd have to grow this business really fast to make up that money, and that's just, it's definitely a faith step that I haven't been willing to take. And my job is really easy for the money that I make. Like probably half the time or more, I'm just sitting or standing, but very little actual work out of an 8-hour day. So it's hard to give up that kind of money uh, for that kind of work. Yeah, on the sugar thing is that they only drink this is Jane Christine. They only drink water, coffee, and Squincer, which I'm not sure what a Squincer is, but water and coffee. That's how I used to always be. I used to always be water, coffee until my sister came and visit. Now I'm like soda all the time. And I think that this is better, but I know it's not. It's just a different kind of bad, and it's good in some ways. But sparkling water. Oh, okay. Sparkling water. That's a Squincer, I believe. Hey, what's going on, Mark? Topo Chico? Okay, I'm not sure if that's a joke. That could be a joke knowing Mark. Topo Chico? You're going to have to elaborate on what that is, man. For me, at least. And if everybody knows what that is and they just want to like do like little cry and laugh little faces, that's totally cool. You can keep me in the dark. I'm all right with that too. I'm perfectly fine with being the butt of anybody's joke. Okay, back on Abby because Abby said I can share this thing, but like I said, she follows me on my family's Facebook page, and she posted something, and it was about music. And forgive me, if my words aren't right, it's mineral water. Okay. Forgive me if my words are not right. But basically, what it was like she was saying, have you ever like thought about the words that are actually in music? You know, like actually like read the words, know the words to the songs that we're singing, or do we just focus on the melodies? Because there's a lot of great songs out there, but the words are horrible. Like horrible isn't like not good moral messages. Like you know, like there's all kinds of music out there, right? And she had just kind of highlighted this fact in one of her posts about that. And uh, high school, right? Yeah, high school, like sophomore-ish. Is that what you are, Abby? Right around there or whatnot. But I just thought that, like, how many teenagers are really concerned about the food that they're feeding their brain, and especially in the form of music, because, like, what's the harm of music, right? But she highlighted, she's like, have you ever just looked at the words of the music that we listen to? And if you did, would you still listen to that music? Because it's true. There's a lot of stuff that's like, even as an adult, I'm like, I in no way agree with that. But it's got a great tune. But I in no way agree with the song. Eighth grade, goodness gracious, Abby's in eighth grade, and that's the type of stuff that's going through her brain. So I think that's admirable, and I think uh, that is beyond uh, what society is saying about our eighth graders. So um, good on you, Abby, for paying attention to stuff because it does matter. Words have meaning and words matter. Mr. Gary, how are you doing? How are you doing? Put you up here. There we go. Excellent. It's good to have you guys. Good to have you guys. Man, that first half hour, again, gone. So, all right, I got another topic, guys, but I want to give you guys an opportunity if there's anything you guys want to talk about. Do we want to go on sugar or anything like that? Oh, you know what? Here you go. I just saw a comment. For those of you um, that uh, have watched Eclipse Lawn Care, thank you for reminding me too, by the way, in the comments, because I've thought about this man ever since I heard about it. I've met him, uh, and but if you watch Eclipse Lawn Care with Mark, you would know Dougie Doug. And Dougie Doug, the way I understand, I think he got in a motorcycle accident, and he's passed. So Mark, man, many condolences to you, to uh, your guys that work with him, because Dougie was a special dude. Let me tell you, he was a special dude, and I only met him once, and it's not hard to tell, man. The dude had a gold, heart of gold, man, and he is fun, and he was a great friend. He was a great friend, and I wish I could have uh, uh, hung out with him some more, got to know him even better. But thank you, Mark, for sharing him with us on your videos, because Um, uh, Dougie Doug, man, it's just rest in peace, brother. Rest in peace, man. So, yeah, just wanted to acknowledge Dougie Doug, Marky Mark, and Dougie Doug. So, anywho, um, let's see what else we got here. Yep. So we got a couple other comments here. Stacy's got praise and worship about music, right? About music. So that's kind of my preferred music. Except honestly, I don't listen to a lot of music anymore. Um, we got the music at church, which isn't like mainstream on the radio type music. So, and that's just taken. And some of the songs from when I was a kid, going to church, some of those songs have been coming to my mind. One of them is Jehovah Jireh. My kids love it. And it's Jehovah Jireh, my provider, gracious and merciful. Jehovah Jireh, my provider, gracious and merciful. But anyway, it's like you never hear that on the radio, right? But it's like totally encouraging. That's what kind of goes through my mind most of the time when I think of music. But worship's been a big part of our family's life lately. In the house, at church, on our Saturday Sabbath, which is a big part. We always make time for worship. Oh, yeah. Thanks for asking. Joffrey's asking about Haley. Yeah, she's doing great, man. Uh, she she had a tick bite. We believe it was a tick bite, and we ended up taking her to an urgent care, and they said they didn't think it was a tick bite, and then just treat it with Benadryl. But I'm pretty sure it was a tick bite. But we did treat it with Benadryl and that type of stuff. And no kidding, like that same day, it just started fading and fading. Like the next day, you can barely even see it. So if there was any infection, it's gone. It's gone. Now, here's the tricky thing about tick bites, though, because from the online stuff that I'm noticing is like symptoms can still show up like 6 months later. But I think we're going to choose to believe that it's done, taken care of. Rob's giving me some encouragement to not quit my day job, which is funny because Rob would ordinarily tell me to quit my day job if it was for lawn care, but not for singing apparently. So I sing much better when I'm by myself. I'll just let you know that nobody ever complains when I sing by myself. Yeah. So any topics you guys want to talk at before I get into about humility and confidence? That was something that my nephew posted on Facebook, and he asked that. My nephew, he's college age, right? Well, he's probably actually older than college age now. Uh, he could be 21 or 22 now, so right at the tail end of college. And he posted something on Facebook about confidence. Thank you, Justin. Um, about confidence and humility, and he does that a lot. He just wants to kind of take the or just kind of poll people to see how they feel about different things, and that was one of the things that he put on there. So that's what I'll go on to next if there's nothing else for anybody, or maybe you guys can tell me how you guys are doing, right? Yep. I hope that again. I hope that Louisiana is okay. I know that the stats were not good for it. They said it was one of the most severe storms that in the history of Louisiana. But I think that the damage was, from what they're reporting here, is that the damage was less than what they had expected. But that doesn't mean it was good. So, but you guys are either on your phone in a hotel room still evacuated, or you're at home and everything's good. So I'm hoping everything's home and good for Jane Christine. Or anybody else. Was anybody else affected by that storm at all? From anywhere like I know those storms stretch out. We got a little bit of rain from it, and the storm was really nowhere near us. Really, I'm using Louisiana. It's like just like a state over with you, kind of diagonal for us. But we got some rain. So did anybody else get any effect from those hurricanes? maybe Dallas, because I think it's supposed to hit the southern part of Texas. Mark, do you guys see anything up there or down there for me? Yeah. All right. So I'll go on with this humility thing, this humility and confidence, and then just post anything if anything comes up, and I'll just kind of like jam it in there. So he said, what is humility and what is confidence? And I had kind of an interesting answer because um, lately, like I've been accused of being argumentative. I know you guys wouldn't call me that. Well, Sam might. Sam might because he's worked with me, and that's where I get called argumentative at work. I don't think I'm argumentative, and if you want to argue about it, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to argue with you about it. But that was where my mind went with humility and confidence. You got a lot of rain this morning? Yep. We got some rain too, and we're supposed to get some more. So that's all good because it's getting crispy around here. So we needed it. So I'm glad you guys are getting some too. Maybe the trend will continue and we'll have an extended season. Maybe like end of October, maybe. Wouldn't that be great? Yeah. So what I told my nephew, to me, in light of my experience of having to demonstrate or not demonstrate humility or confidence, was it's really when people don't believe the same things that you do. I don't know how it happens, but when you get in conversations, when you start comparing what I believe versus what you believe, um, it can get argumentative, right? Because there's differences in belief, differences in values, which really kind of guide what we believe. Because if we value something, then it really kind of shapes uh, our concept of right and wrong, justice and versus injustice, things of that nature. Long Commander says he got some wetness in West North Carolina. I believe that's what that W is, isn't it? West North Carolina. Good, good. I don't know if you guys could have used it, but I know we could have. So I hope you guys could do. Hope it helps. And so it's a fine line you ride, right? When you're comparing what you believe, and it's easy to get into arguments, right? Because what happens is it transitions from this is what I believe, well, this is what I believe, to this is what you have to believe because I believe it, and this is what you have to believe. No, I don't want to believe that. You need to believe what I believe, and I'm going to convince you, and we're going to argue about this until one of us concedes and says, you know what, you might be right. Maybe the way you believe is better or right. That's not humility. Humility would be to have that same conversation, except being all right with the other person not believing the same thing. Being okay with that. Confidence is being all right with what you believe, even though somebody else doesn't believe the same thing. So I don't know if I said that right, and I don't know if that came through, but humility would be being okay with what the other person believes, even though you don't agree. But confidence would be being okay with what you believe, even though the other person doesn't agree. I think that's what it is. I think that's what it is. You know, because if you're confident in what you believe, why does anybody else have to believe the same thing? If you truly believe what you believe, then why does it matter what other people believe? Should it matter? Is it going to affect the way what you believe, or is it going to change your world in some way? Or are you confident that what you believe is true and right, and whether or not other people believe is your faith depending on that, on what other people believe? And the same thing, humility. If you really, really believe, let's just say you're confident, right? Like you believe that you believe, but you're not humble. You know, so you have to convince other people. You're not okay with other people that don't believe the same thing that you believe. You're not okay with that. It's not right. They can't go on thinking the way they think or believing what they believe because it's not right. It's wrong. Even when they're fully convinced of what they believe. If we continue to persist and pursue and argue and debate and all that type of stuff, knowing darn well that we're not going to convince her, is that humility? I don't think so. I think humility is being okay that they don't believe the same thing. You don't have to believe the same thing, right? I'm okay with letting you be wrong, in my view, because that's my view, right? Of course, I think I'm right. We all think we're right, but are we okay with other people being what we perceive to be wrong? I mean, maybe humility isn't necessarily just being okay with it, but just being open to the idea that you also may be wrong. Although that kind of plays in the other way of confidence. But that's kind of why I think humility in that scenario is more about like just being okay with the other person not believing the same way. Because it's not really a matter of right and wrong. It's just a matter of everybody's responsible for what they believe, and that's what they're accountable for. And it's okay that we're different. So, Gary Man, you got a comment here. I'm going to put you up. Humility reveals poor character. In the like, it strengthens, grows, and builds the best character when received rightly. I think I'm going to read that again. Humility reveals poor character. In the like, it strengthens, grows, and builds the best character when received rightly. I think if I understand that correctly, what you're saying is like when we cultivate humility as part of our character, it can be a strength, right? But when we lack humility, it really reveals where we fall short. If I got that right, I think I understand that correctly, and I think you're right. If that's the case, I think you're right, and that's where I found myself oftentimes where I've had to be refined in my own self is far too often when I've allowed a conversation to go too far when there's an obvious difference in the way we believe. I tend to be the persistent guy, and then the worst kind of comes out of me. Like they haven't seen the worst. Like my family's seen the worst, but there's some bad character that comes out. That's the fruit of lacking humility is bad character. I believe that. Long Commander, this is what Long Commander says: being okay is okay. When they have an issue, they will remember you. Being okay is okay. When they have an issue, they will remember you. And if I understand that one right, it's like basically, correct me if I'm wrong, but like you say you part ways, you disagree, you part ways, and then cards play out, and then eventually time will tell, circumstances will tell who was correct and who was incorrect about something. And they don't have to be told that, but they'll remember that conversation that we had with them, and they might be like, you know what? I was wrong. And they don't even need an "I told you so" because that wouldn't be humility. Coming back and telling somebody "I told you so." But I think that's what Long Commander is saying. But being okay, you just gotta be okay. Just let it ride, let it play out, and they'll remember. They'll remember the conversation because it's those create points and like little pockets of memories in the back of somebody's head with an experience that they had with you, and they don't forget that stuff. I don't think. Some people are probably better at forgetting that stuff because that's like normal for them, right? They just have conflict after conflict after conflict, and it becomes normal. And so it's not like a standout moment in their life. It's just their life. They just go from disagreement to disagreement to disagreement, and they don't remember. They just there's no resolution. It's just normal living for them. So like if you can imagine that, whatever your normal is, like how many moments do you actually remember out of the last 10 years, right? You remember the significant ones, right? The ones that stand out, the ones that were different, a little bit abnormal. Those are the ones you typically remember. But the normal moments, every little conversation you have, those don't come up. But I have met people, and I hope that I'm not one of those people where like conflict is not normal. So because I want to be. I mean, if I'm wrong on anything, I like to think time will tell. I like to tell that. I like to think that there's a consequence to every decision that we make. And sometimes it's not like God punishing us for stuff, but it's just I made a poor decision and I get a bad consequence for it. I make better decisions and I typically get better, a reward out of that. I get a good fruit out of that. Um, so I think most people's lives are like that, but they don't want to look at their own decisions or how they made them. Uh, so here we go. Gary, response. Yes, I've seen folk reject humility because of pride or bounding. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. People will, even when they're proven wrong, sometimes that's not even enough. So it's like, what's our goal when we get into these debates with people? Is it to prove them wrong? Because even if they were wrong, would they even admit it to your face? You know, like, or is there pride there? Is it pride for let's just say me, trying to be the convincer? Like, you got to believe what I believe. But then there's also pride on the other side, where it's like they wouldn't even give the person the other satisfaction of knowing that they were right. So it's like it's just totally unfruitful to get in conversations like that. So humility and confidence. So yeah, humility, good confidence. But all you got to know is that you're doing what you think is right. Being confident of that. Don't second guess yourself. You know, I mean, if somebody proposes a point of view, and it's considerable, and you should be open to it. Well, maybe I'm wrong on that. Hear the person out. But if for whatever reason, you still hold the same view, just believe that you believe that you believe, and be confident in that. The other person doesn't have to believe that. Yep. So that's that. Man, I got 11 folks. Man, is the conversation that interesting? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, but I'm enjoying it. But then again, it's kind of my show, so I get to kind of set the tempo a little bit. But there's another opportunity here for you guys. We got 12 minutes, 12 minutes, and we can talk about anything you guys want. That's really actually all I had. Those are the only two things that I had coming up. So if you got any more inputs or something new, um, yeah. I did have something else, but I can't remember it. I thought about writing some things down, so I had like this never-ending list of things to talk about, but I didn't want to choke the time out. Make sure you guys could have an opportunity. I got actually here's something that's interesting. You guys know I'm a faith man. I was reading in the Bible the other day, and I've been really looking into the law of the Bible a lot. And I can't remember if I've shared this type of stuff with you guys. What's going on, Terrace Landscaping? It's good to have you. Yep. He responded to my Instagram saying I'll be there. I said awesome, but man, I got 11 minutes left, so you're at the tail end of it. But it's good to have you from the time. And um, yeah, oh yeah, into the law of the Bible, and it's interesting because I don't know how much anybody knows about anything about the Bible. I feel like I know little, but even though I've been reading it forever, seems like forever at least. But I came across something in the law. The law is the first five books of the Bible. Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, and it's all about Moses. Most people know who Moses is, right? The guy that parted the sea, the Israelites went through, the Egyptians, died, death everywhere, right? But the Israelites were saved. So let my people go. That's like Moses. Like there's a song out there, right? That's about that, about Moses petitioning Egypt to let the people go. Anyways, Moses is the man that wrote those books, is what is believed. And there's all these different laws, right? And in the Christian faith, they say it's impossible to obey all those laws, which is why pave the way for Jesus and all that. Without getting too much into how I feel about that, a lot of those laws I'm reading are not hard. And here's one that's interesting: is relative to business owners. That's why I thought about it. Did you guys know? I didn't know this. Um, that there's a law in my faith that says when you have a worker and they're poor, okay, you've got a worker and they're poor, so they're probably working some kind of a labor job. They're doing something that's low paying, something that anybody can do. It doesn't require any specific skills. Um, in lawn care, oftentimes mowing is a fairly simple thing to teach, so it doesn't require anything super special except for an attitude to learn. Wanting to do a good job, and most anybody can do it. That's why most of us, I say not, that's not why most of us, but that's why there's so many lawn care businesses out there, because it's easy to get into, it's cheap, and most people mow their lawn. They're capable of doing that. So that's what they do. But if you're a business owner and you're an Israelite and you have a worker that is poor, meaning they have trouble meeting their bills in whatever intervals their bills are, you're supposed to pay them every day. Every single day. I thought about that. I was like, I'd like to get paid every day. Wait a second, I do in lawn care. I'd like to get paid every day at my full-time job too. Wouldn't you guys like to get paid every single day? That'd be great. Just cash in hand every day. Day's work, day's pay. There you go. Go home. Come back tomorrow. I'll give you some more money. You give me some more work, I'll give you some more money. Isn't that cool? I think that's cool. So I thought about that, and I was like, you know what? If I ever did have any employees, that met that criteria, they were just poor, having a hard time. Their cell phone bill is due, tomorrow. But what if I paid them on a biweekly basis? And their cell phone's due tomorrow, and they don't have enough money. Well, they wouldn't have to worry about that if I paid them daily, right? They just go pay their cell phone bill. I thought that was pretty cool myself. So if I ever go full time, if I ever have employees, I might pay them every day. Because the Bible says that there's blessings for obedience, but there's curses for disobedience. So I would want to obey. Anyways, just my 2 cents. A little sharing from my Bible time. But there's all kinds of laws like that. And it's like, yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah. Yep. Lawn Commander, a good one. The Lawn Commander is brushing on the two greatest commandments. Love God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind. And the second is like it, love your neighbor as yourself. That's right. All the law all the law and the prophets hang off these two commandments. So yeah, that's true. Love God, love your neighbor, and everything. See, that's one that goes into loving your neighbor, right? Right. It falls into that. Like if you see that you have an employee that's having a hard time, the Bible says we should pay them daily. I mean, this is Israelites, right? I consider myself part of Israel. Through Christ, I'm part of Israel. I'm part of that nation. I'm no longer a foreigner, no longer a stranger, no longer an alien, but a member and citizen of God's household. So I'm in Israel. So this is a law for me. That's what I'm supposed to do, and it falls under that second is like it, to love your neighbor. Is that like we're supposed to care about our employees. We're supposed to care that they have bills and when they're due, and do what we can, what's within our power and our ability to help them to be successful. And that was something that set God's people apart. And that's what Jesus said. He said, they'll know you by the way you love one another. They will know you're my disciples by the way you love one another. Yeah, it's truly unique because I've never been paid daily, ever, in my life. Unless I was doing like a one-time cash job. Well, okay, lawn care. Obviously, I get paid daily, but some people I don't. Sometimes I'm waiting on the money a couple days. Because I just send them the invoice and I give them 2 days paid. But yeah, a lot of laws are like that. Pretty easy stuff. Another one. What's another one? Oh, this one is coming up because this is actually interesting, and I got 5 more minutes, so I'm just going to throw this out there. And if you guys want to talk more about it, then let me know next live or something like that. But the year of Jubilee. The year of Jubilee was cool because it's the 7th year. Every 7 years is a Jubilee for the Israelites. And one of the things, it's about debt. Do you guys have any customers that owe you money and they've owed you money for a long time? Well, there's a law for that. But it depends. It depends on whether or not you're an Israelite or not. So if you're in Christ, then you're an Israelite. If you're not in Christ, if you're not a believer, then you're not. Then the rules are different. But in the year of Jubilee, you're supposed to forgive your debts if you're an Israelite. Automatic. You cannot collect from another believer in the year of Jubilee, in the seventh year. And also says that there's not going to be any poor among you. But if someone does become poor, it says you're supposed to lend to them. And you're not even supposed to consider that it's the sixth year and the next year is the Jubilee. You just provide for your brother's need if it's within your capability, right? Because so that they won't be poor. And you're not supposed to consider that you're going to forgive whatever debt the next year. So I thought that was kind of interesting too. And I thought about it. I got some invoices that are hanging out there. Some of them I got for hundreds of dollars. All right, man. Rob, we'll see you Thursday, bud. Really looking forward to it. And but I don't know if they're believers or not. But here's the interesting thing: is because if you're not a believer, you have the right to take whatever they owe you in that year. So the rules are a little bit different. But this is what I think, because I'm not going to judge whether or not somebody's a believer or non-believer. The seventh year, I'm forgiving debts. That's what I'm going to do, because I'm not going to make that judgment on them. I could probably, just based off of what they present to me, but I'm not going to do that, because what if they are a believer, right? It doesn't matter what they present to me. If they are a believer, then I'm supposed to forgive them. But anyways, I got these things, and I'm fixing to go into my seventh year of business. So, yeah, and I've got some outstanding invoices. Like, I got some outstanding invoices. Okay, Gary, real quick, he says, full-time job, long care family. I missed the beginning. Well, oh my gosh, what was that common topic? Real quick, full-time job, long care family. I missed the beginning. Well, Gary, I was talking about the story that I've been holding back from everybody for the last few weeks, and that was about and my clues was a full-time job. Oh, long care and family. That was the clues. That was the clues. Okay. For those of you that didn't catch the story, I'm gonna and for Gary, even though I got a couple minutes, I'll go a couple minutes over and I'll share the story. But basically, the gist was my family came in contact with somebody that was COVID positive. My job requires me to report that, basically, because I'm not allowed on the installation if I've been in contact with COVID positive. Means I can't go to work, so I got to call my boss. My boss told me that I had to get a test, and I didn't want to take a test. I didn't want to take the tickle the brain test. That's not what I wanted to do. Well, I found out there's other options later. I ended up taking the rapid test, which I was okay with. But at the time, when I was talking to my boss, I was telling him, I'm not going to take that test. And I thought I quit my job. And I had a breakdown in my kitchen, and my amazing wife was there, and she said, it's okay. I don't want you to do anything that you don't want to do. And she was going to go with it. She was going to ride with it, and she was going to be totally cool with it. And I thought I quit my job, because I told my boss, he said, well, I can't let you come back to work. And I said, well, I can't fix that. So, but anyway, in the end, I ended up taking a rapid test because I was okay with that. I kept my job, and I'm not doing full-time long care. But yeah, it was COVID with my family. My full-time job, because I thought I was going to quit it, and long care because I thought I was going to go full-time long care, even after I had told everybody that I wasn't going full-time. So, and I need to hold that back because I have coworkers that watch my channel, and I want to make sure that the climate had cooled on that subject before I let the cat out of the bag to anybody that might have watched it. So there you go, Gary. That's the deal, man. That's the deal. So, well, it looks like I managed to wrap that up in 2 minutes. I'll still give a couple minutes if anybody's got any last-minute questions, comments, anything. So, it's still a little bit warm in the garage. I can't lie, a little bit warm, and I pretty much got through my Coke Zero. Yep. Hey, by the way, if any of you guys want to come on live with me, just give me a message in my Instagram or something. Comment on this video, something like that. Say, hey, I'd love to come on there live with you. Good night, Jay and Christine. Lord bless you guys. I'm glad you guys are safe. Yep. And just let me know ahead of time. That way I can kind of get a better arrangement going. And I'll try to watch some self-help videos on this and see if I can figure out how to bring people in and out. So, alrighty, guys. Well, that looks like it's going to be it. So, thank you guys. Thank you guys as always. If you guys share this, if you like it, if you're doing that, all of that is much appreciated, because I know I am going to get a little tired of my beard. So, if I do last to 1,000, I think I'm probably going to love to shave it at that point, or at least trim it down. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe once you get so long that you just can't go back. You're just going to have the beard forever, like Stacy, right? I can't even imagine Stacy shaving his beard. I don't think he probably could either. So, anyways, guys, thank you guys so much for another wonderful live stream this Sunday night. Lord bless you guys. Pray for me. You guys know I'm praying for you. Stay safe out there, okay? Good night. Hey, Bushwhackers, have a great week, man. Have a great week. No, Long Commander says he can't go back. I don't blame you, man. I don't blame you. Alrighty, guys. Love you. We'll see you guys next week.